Okay, today we are welcoming someone who represents the very best of our community, Supervisor Roy Lee. Roy was born in Taipei and moved to Goleta as a young boy. He graduated from Dos Pueblos High School, attended SBCC, and earned his degree from UCSB. Many of us know him through Uncle Chen's family restaurant that has been a staple in Carpinteria since 1991. Roy has served our community on the Carpinteria City Council and is currently our Santa Barbara County 1st District Supervisor. He is known for his dedication, work ethic, humor, and deep commitment to local families. Please join me in welcoming Roy Lee.
Daisy. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Bonnie. Hi. Oh, now before I like to do this before the presentation. Can we all take a selfie together? Because I like to show my wife Tina every night. It's like where I've been, who I've met. So with that, everybody, if we can, I can fit everybody in. Let's see how we do this. This would be, oh, there it is. All right, everybody smile. Say hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina.
Thank you. She's gonna love that. So let me thank you, Bonnie, for the introduction. Just adding a little more. My family and I have lived in Carpinteria since 1999. We moved here my senior year in high school. So I commuted to DP every morning and back. I was always late. But now as a proud father of 3 kids, my son Tyson is going to college. My daughter Madison is going to junior year in Carp High, and Ellie is going to 8th grade at the Carp Middle School. So I'm very proud that we were able to raise our family here. It's been an incredible experience. I know many of you through the restaurant. Many of you know my better half, my wife Tina. She's fantastic. We've been married for close to 20 years now. And I know many of you, my neighbor John, worked with Rob for many years when I was here back then. So it's great to be part of this community. So I want to introduce you to Daisy. Daisy from my office, Daisy Weber. She's also my bodyguard. She's fantastic. I have a great team. Not only, in addition to Daisy, I have Wade Cooper, Aida, and Warren from office. And together we make up the 1st District team. And I couldn't ask for better colleagues. So with that, today I'm going to give you a presentation on 3 different topics. And who's going to work the computer?
I'll do it. Thank you.
So Daisy and I are going to tag team. I'm going to say some words, and if I miss something, Daisy will come in and talk about things I missed. So 3 things. We're going to talk about housing, we're going to talk about cannabis, and fire and flood, which has been a hot topic recently with the projected El Nino rains coming. So let's move on, Daisy.
No, this is it. You're
This is
working
it.
off this.
Okay, good. So as many of you know, especially Greg, who I serve on the city council together, the state is forcing many communities, especially in Carpinteria, to build housing, a lot of housing. And their approach is basically they hold a gun to your head, and if you don't do what they do, and if you don't, they pull this trigger called something called builder's remedy. Now, does anybody know what builder's remedy means? Right? It means developers can disregard zoning and build what they want. A great example of that is the project that we all heard about at Oregon, the 18-story that nobody wanted. That's one example of what a builder's remedy can do. Other things such as the Tea Time, the Baylor project, not anymore, but various ones in Santa Barbara as well, behind the mission, those are all builder's remedy. So if a city does not have a approved housing element, that comes into play. So cities and counties always rush to get their housing element approved. With housing, there's 3 developments that's coming before the surrounding area in Carpinteria. There's one off Baylor next to Monte Vista Park. It's projected to have 192 units, with 260 odd parking spots. So about 1.5 parking, which is the ideal, what we want. Is that a perfect place to build housing? No, I fought against it during my time on city council, but I inherited a problem. So when we came in, we worked with our county, the city, the developer, and nonprofit to bring forward the best project possible. And as many of you know, Billard is tough. The parking is tough, it's congested, but it's something that we are moving forward with. So that's coming down this year. The other two projects is Van Winger 1 and 2. One by the high school and one on Villarreal by Cravens Lane. Those two housing projects is not even step one, but we are working together with the city as well and the developer to come and bring forward a project again, the best for our community that's needed, that will have 32% affordable housing rate, much higher than the 20% that many projects that come to our community. So more affordable housing that is needed in the community. And now, you hear this term NIMBY, right? Not in my neighborhood, and YIMBY, yes, in my neighborhood. And the credit goes to Daisy on this. I want to come together and use the new term, MIMBY. It's a compromise. It means maybe in my backyard, right? Because going forward, we cannot fight these state housing mandates. The next one will be in 2031. Carpinteria, the city, was mandated to build 901 units. I don't think they're going to do it, but the next one will be much higher numbers. So we all have to come together, work together to bring and build this housing that's being forced and needed. Adriana, you got a question?
Yeah, but is there a penalty of any sort when we don't meet these state mandated elements? Am I wording that correctly? What happens?
So in addition to builder's remedy, the state can take away funding. Any grants that cities or county may have, they'll take it away. And they will force it upon you, and you cannot fight it. So that is what's happening. Two people are responsible for this, and remember their name. One guy is named Scott Wiener, right? And then Buffy Wicks. Those two individuals are solely destroying the small town, the charm, and the uniqueness of many communities, including not just Carpinteria, but throughout many coastal communities. So,
Boy, there's no legal remedy, any way that we can butt heads with them and negotiate those numbers down to something reasonable?
so the next housing, so the way the housing cycle works is allocated through SBCAG. Does you know what SBCAG is? It's basically one representative from every city together in a room talking about transportation. But in 2031, we'll allocate the next housing cycle. Now you can horse trade with each different communities, because areas such as Santa Maria, Santa Ynez, they want more housing, whereas Carpinteria in this area may not. So we can work. But Mike.
Greg understands builder's remedy. I understand builder's remedy. You understand builder's remedy.
Right.
Why don't you explain to everybody how builder's remedy works?
So let's use an example of the Ogun site, the roundabout at Ogun. Let's say it's zoned for residential. If a builder's remedy is in play in the city, a developer can say, you know what, that zoning for single housing does not apply to more. I can build as high as I want. That's why.
What triggers?
What triggers? When a city or a county does not have the housing element approved. So the state will give you, say, 6 months. And when the 6 months you don't do it, then you're in violation. And then that comes into play. Adriana?
You just answered it.
Okay. So that's what triggers that.
It's essentially the builders are allowed to remedy the problem that the city is not addressing. So if the city is not approving the building, the builders get to remedy the problem. And they get to basically bulldoze over the the local plans, the local jurisdiction. So if you have a 3-story building limit and something becomes a builder's remedy project because the city council and the planning commission didn't approve the 3-story building, that's where you get a builder coming in saying, all right, we can do whatever we want. Here's an 18-story building.
Right.
That's builder's remedy.
And when they do 18-story, if they do change their mind, they cannot go less than 20% of the original proposal. So that's something to consider as well. Adriana, yes.
Could the builder's remedy be triggered by just application in this house or deadlines? Like what else could trigger this other than the general idea of housing? Like, is there a legal, like, is there a loophole we can?
No, the state feels any loophole
Okay.
about this. They are not stopping. The hammer is coming down even harder every single year. I spoke to our state representatives about it, and they are not messing around. So they told us to be prepared. Karen?
Just one other aspect I remember reading or thought I read about builder's remedy is that you can bypass some of the approval process, that fast track.
Yes.
Is that correct?
5 meetings limit, meaning if the city and the planning commission cannot figure out by the 5th meeting, by the 6th it'll be approved. So the cities have 5 shots to get this right. If we don't, then it will be approved.
Can
Wait,
I? Oh.
Yeah.
You might want to address the issue of not only do you have builder's remedy, but another Scott Wiener bill is, I think, 2970, whatever it is, where any's within 5,000 feet of a mass transit facility, which is a train station, basically all parking and height limits and all that stuff go away.
Correct. I don't know if everybody heard it, but if the development is within 5,000 square foot of a mass transit train, bus stop, then no parking requirement is needed. Meaning you just build the housing, there's nowhere to park, neighborhoods will be packed, and that's a real thing. That's a real concern because Carpinteria are all surrounded by mass transit, so technically it could happen here. Daisy, you want to say something?
Oh yeah. I was gonna mention because you all seem very interested in the builder's remedy. So a good example of something coming out of builder's remedy is the Baylord project. So the Baylord project was initially a builder's remedy project. The numbers for Carpinteria hadn't been met yet, the building numbers. So like Roy said, the state says the city has to build 901 units. To give you context, Santa Barbara County has to build 25,000 across the whole county. So that's from Santa Maria to here in Cuyama. There's not any water in Cuyama, so they don't really have to do it, but that's besides the point. So 900 units have to be built in Carpinteria moving forward by 2029. If that is not happening, these lawyers for these property owners, they're the ones that will fight for builder's remedy if the units are not being built in the city, then builder's remedy gets triggered. So that's what was happening for Baylord. Ultimately, what ended up happening with Baylord is that it was rezoned. So part of the process with that is it went to the Coastal Commission, it was rezoned, and now that it's rezoned, they're going through a different path. So they abandoned their builder's remedy for this other option to go back through the county and the city. Builder's remedy is tricky for developers because you have to go through an environmental review usually, which is complicated. So there are roadblocks within the builder's remedy, but that's part of the reason that they end up building things so big is because it's such a hassle to get the project through. So I'm sure you've heard it from other places, but it's like, if you work with us, we'll make it a better project. If you work against us, we're gonna give you something that you don't want. I think you've all heard that from various developers over various projects. That's kind of what they're talking about. So the Baylord project is a good example of something that was in a builder's remedy, but through a lot of careful negotiations and some rezoning, we got them to abandon their builder's remedy, and now they're going a different route, which subjects them to the zoning laws that are in place. So it is not impossible to get something out of a builder's remedy, but you do have to have a willing developer to work with you.
Daisy, isn't that Redtail?
Yes, sorry. When we're talking about Baylord, we're talking about the Baylord Red
You
Tail
want to describe it, has that still got the
project.
low-income housing plus some of the housing for unhoused people?
Yes, there was talk of Section 8 housing for that, but I don't think Section 8 housing is applicable to that space anymore. I could be wrong, but I'll check on it. That property, the reason it got rezoned is because they opted for a 32% inclusionary rate. So something about these housing numbers we're talking about, these state mandated RHNA numbers, RHNA, those numbers, a portion of all these units have to be affordable housing and market rate housing. And so the standard has been 20%, and the Baylord Red Tail project came in and said, what if we made it 32%, which is significantly more. So 32% affordable is significantly more than 20%. And that was what ultimately got the Coastal Commission and the County Planning Commission to approve the rezone for that project specifically.
Let's talk about grass.
There was one more question, and then we'll move. I'll give this
Oh,
back to him.
Daisy, does an ADU qualify as a qualified housing unit?
Yes, you can. So just one last point. Daisy mentioned about the Coastal Commission, whereas before they were ally in preventing housing, now they flipped. They are majority pro-housing. They want to build more and more and more. Remember, they're a leg and an arm of the state. So just keep that in mind. If you think they're your friend, not really.
Well, what can people do?
I'm trying to vote, right? These are your state reps that are doing it. Your state reps are doing this to you. So just vote. Okay, just a few more questions, then we'll move on. Kevin and Karen, yes.
Just one last thing, on the Van Ruiner properties, across the high school.
Right.
They have the Orchid, and is that gonna be, what kind of housing, and then behind Kim's is the other spot?
Correct.
They're using Kim's, so just for context for everybody. Are they single-family apartments? I can't remember what was designated there.
So nothing's been decided right now. It's not a step one of 100. So they're still deciding, but we are planning next year to sit down with them and say, what's your plan? And the city will be incorporated, everything will be transparent. We want them to be involved, working together. Again, it's the best project for the community. Kevin?
And what's the state's interest with the growth mandate? Is it solely just raising the property tax base, and what are they really interested in?
My honest is developers these are driven by developers.
So it's external pressure.
Right. But to the point, we do need housing. Many Carpinterians are moving out of the community because of the high cost. When you're paying $3,000, $4,000 for one bedroom, that's hard. You think about many of your kids and grandkids. We want them to stay and live here and not have to move to Lompoc or Ventura, Oxnard. We want them to stay. So we do need to build housing, but it has to be smart workforce, local housing that we need for our families and the community. So.
I guess the question becomes, does more housing equal cheaper housing?
Oh, well, yes and no. That's a longer conversation, but I want to move on. Yes.
Yeah, 191 units of Baylor, that's my neighborhood.
Right.
The parking is still impacted anyway. There was some kind of agreement with registered parking or permit parking, because we have the guys coming in with big trucks parking there and then going home on the weekend, and a lot of extra. I mean, if you think of 191 units and you multiply that by 2, because everybody probably has 2 cars.
Right.
We're looking at over almost 400 cars, 400 more cars in that little intersection of Via Real and Baylor.
Mhm.
And then the parking is another issue.
So I can say this, part of the lease agreement with the developer is that any tenant will have to sign a lease saying the cars and that they will keep the cars inside and not park on the street. So it's part of the lease agreement that they agree to this. So that's one way to help with that. Now, before I move on to cannabis, anybody have questions? I'll take one more question about housing.
Let's got one.
Okay, wait.
burdens with it falling on the city with no taxes or whatever being shared, and they see that as unequal. Have you sat on those boards, or can you address that issue too?
So back when I was city council, Greg and I, we opposed it. Awesome, right? And what the city plans to do is to annex the red-tailed hawk into the city. So they will get the property value tax. That's later down the road. They're increasing their sphere of influence. So they're able to do that down the road. They can do it through LAFCO. So that's part of the plan for the city. It's an unfortunate situation. I inherited, I did not approve it, I was opposed it, but we're just doing the best that we can with what we got with the red tail.
Well, and we're working on fee sharing.
Yeah, and we're working on fee sharing, development impact fees. We're working with the cities to say, how do you figure this out? So we're keeping open dialogue. Again, we're great partners with the city. So let's move on to cannabis. All right. I know a lot of you know about this already. So what the board of supervisors did last March is that we give every cannabis grower in the Cart Valley 1 year. 1 year to install carbon scrubbers or equivalent technology to address the smells. After 1 year, majority of the growers did install, but there were a few more difficult growers that did not want to do. Currently, there's about 2 growers that are fighting us tooth and nail on this. And they don't want to install it, they want to fight it. And we now got the district attorney involved and the sheriff's department to enforce it. I told them enough is enough. We won't tolerate the smell anymore. I'm not against the cannabis industry, but the smell has to be addressed. Right? These greenhouses are not built to house cannabis, but it happened many years ago, and we just tried to fix that odor smell. Driving up here, it was pretty strong to me. It should not be in the middle of the day. There is a new dashboard coming out where you can complain, see where the hotspots are, but we are working aggressively to solve this issue. It's still a top priority for my office to solve it, and hopefully by working with the new CEO who's coming in later this month, we will finally solve this issue once and for all and breathe clean air. Any questions about cannabis? Bonnie, yes.
My son lives up on eucalyptus, and at night you can hardly stand it. It smells so bad. So is that his street sort of in it and backs up to some of this? Is that some of those companies you're talking about that are not doing anything?
Most are, those greenhouses, they have the vid, or they blow up, is what they do. Even though you have 8 to 10 carbon scrubbers per acre, the smell will never ever truly go away. Unless you have a fully contained building, which we do not. They're greenhouses, they're made of glass, and they have the vent.
Really? It never goes away?
And it won't 100% go away, but we can take majority of it away. So, any more cannabis? Good? Okay, good. All right, let's talk about fire and flood. As you know, we all remember the Thomas fire, right? That Saturday night, evening, came across a ridge. Everybody was up, scared, all right? I was there with you. We don't know what's going to happen. Typically, August, September through even December is fire season for us. It's scary, it's dangerous, but I can tell you that we have the best fire departments in our county. All the fire chiefs, they are best friends. They meet once a week, they get together, and they are the best fire team that we can ever ask for. So I'm confident that they'll do everything they can to make sure that we get the resources and everything we need to fight any potential fires. Now, what concerns me is about the floods. Now, were any of you here during the 1969 flood? Right? Yeah, Carrie? Yeah, Karen? So because of that, Greg, we built the Santa Monica debris basin. Has anybody been up there? We should do a field trip. That'd be cool. You can see it. It's basically a big basin where the debris comes down, it captures, and during the last debris flow, it saved Carpinteria. If we did not have that, we'll be the same boat as what happened to Montecito. And we're so fortunate to have that in our community. And the county's role in that is that we clear it. We improve it and we clear it to take more of the debris and make sure that nothing like that ever happens to Carpinteria. That's the county's Public Works Flood Control Department. And everyone wants to see it right now. It's super clean. It's pretty amazing what the county does for the city.
There's cameras on it too. So, well, I can send you the link. I'll send somebody, whoever's in charge here, the link, and they can share it out. But you can see the basin right now, and then you can see it when it rains, and then you can see it when it really rains. It's pretty impressive.
Right. So, flood also impacts many areas, other areas, including Montecito, which they are very concerned. But my role is to make sure that our departments are fully funded to go out and be able to clean, making sure that things flow smoothly. But no matter how much you prepare, if it's coming down 10 inches an hour, we can hope for the best. Yes, Jan.
Okay, just more of a comment. We just moved near the Polo Hills, and there is what's it?
Creek?
Green Creek.
Mhm.
Thank you. And it's kind of interesting that they put the maintenance on the HOA of the home. And I'm not opposed to that. I think it's a great idea. So instead of the city having to keep it maintained, the HOA does.
Mm-hmm. So yes, the new development, Polo Casitas, butts right next to a creek.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful development.
Maintained by that homeowner.
Yes. So.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that though? Just about creek maintenance in general?
Oh, creek maintenance?
I could talk about it.
Okay. Daisy's a creek expert.
I'm a creek expert, relax. I'm not a creek expert. But to that point, we get a lot of questions from a lot of constituents. So we represent Carp, we represent Summerlin, we represent Montecito, we represent Mission Canyon. We got a lot of creeks. We got a lot of people who live on creeks. And creeks are an interesting jurisdiction because it's up to most homeowners to handle their own creek abatement plans, but it is also really complicated because of our environmental standards. It's very hard to get permits to clear out a creek that belongs to you. So it's kind of a catch-22. All that to say, and I can't even believe I'm offering this because this makes more work for me, but if you find yourself with a problem with a creek, just call our offices and we can at least help navigate how to fix whatever the problem is, because it is a very odd thing with the creeks in this area.
Good. How long do we have left? I just want to make sure that I'm on time.
Plenty of time.
Okay. Question? Yes.
It's
Paul.
my understanding that much of the problem in the '69 flood was that debris backed up at Carp Avenue and the bridge. And we've been, the city's been working, or maybe not working, for some time to get a new bridge over the Carpinteria Creek. And,
Right.
that's going to be a big help. But the work that was done on the freeway also mitigates that flood possibility. So we've been charged for flood insurance for the last, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just this last month, they said that the flood danger is not so great and that we don't have to have flood insurance again. So finally, that's an improvement, but we still have to do some work on Carp Creek.
Yes. Oh, does anyone remember when they chucked all those debris to the Carp Beach down Linden?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm happy to say that we found different locations in case that happens again. Turns out other areas do want the debris, so Carp will not have all this debris at our beaches. Karen.
For those of us that were, kids during '69 flood, we didn't have creeks like we have now. They were all mud. So we didn't have the kind of flow that, that we have now for ease. I mean, granted, our last flooding had problems, but not, differently,
Right.
for different reasons.
Matt Roberts, if you remember him, he always had a saying, every mountain wants to become a beach, meaning naturally they want to come down naturally with the boulders and the pebbles. But now it's not like that anymore. We have more severe, intense rains. Bob?
I distinctly remember as a senior at Santa Barbara High School in '69, Key Club came down here to help dig out the amphitheater at Carpine. That was a brand new high school. And to put things in perspective, all of the flood control channels you see in concrete around this area were built after 72.
Right.
That's how they got built, was because whole areas of Carpinteria, I mean, the whole town, all that was flooded.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it was sobering to be doing that, but then to see the powers that be, the decision makers at all levels make a commitment to some flood control needs.
Right.
And fortunately, for a lot of times, Carpinteria Creek hasn't posed as many problems. I mean, they've done the work in it so it doesn't back up on the other side of the freeway anymore. But there's nobody trying to channelize Carpinteria Creek. But still, there's a reason why stuff is done.
Yeah, no, there were some smart carpenters back then that thought ahead and make those decisions so that we are safer today. So I just want to give a quick overview about what the first district covers. Daisy mentioned it, right? It covers Carp, Summerland, Montecito, Santa Barbara, Mission Canyon, to Tucker's Grove, and up to Cuyama, right? Has anybody been to Cuyama before? No. It's a drive. It's beautiful out there. It's like an old Western movie. Just mountains and valleys and livestock and oil. So it's pretty interesting, right? You have Montecito, one of the most. Oh yes.
Have a better fire preparedness, and you made some comments about the fire stations and whatnot.
Yes.
Have we looked into fire safe that invites the people of the community to make their houses fire safe?
So we do have a campaign through the fire department, our county fire department, about Zone 0, meaning anything within your house, within 5 feet, clear it. Anything that's burnable, wood, chairs, this fire department wants you to remove that to the wide area so that it doesn't burn. So it's called Zone 0. It's a campaign that the fire department is advocating for.
Yeah, I live a little north of here. We were invited to get somebody to come in and tell us how to do better our houses and how and they paid for us to fix plants that shouldn't be there, that not fire safe.
Right. Well,
it's a really amazing program.
it is. They do have the Fire Safe Council that will come out. They're nonprofit. They'll assess your neighborhood and your home. There are a few fire safe communities here in Carpinteria neighborhoods, and your neighborhood can sign up and get certified. And also help with fire insurance as well. So with that, any other questions? Any comments? Anything you see? Any concerns? Oh, so another slide. So how can you help, right? What can you do for our community? And I've always advocate that you continue, and I know all of you support our local business. Right now is a very challenging time, and it'll continue to be more challenging, but I encourage you to go out and support your locally owned restaurants and businesses and help them succeed, because it's tough times. So go out there and support them. Again, MIMBY to MIMBY. And right now, when I first entered the county, there was always this divide between cities and counties, and we flipped that. Cities now are our great partners, because if they succeed, we succeed. Because we all serve the same people, right? We all, of course, we want to do better, but now that we are building better relationship, we can do even much better. Daisy goes to the Carp City Council meeting once a month and give a presentation with the City Council. That's very unique only to Carp. No other supervisor does that. And it helps us do better and work collaboratively together to make our office and the communities more successful that way. So, yes.
It's just that I'm wondering,
Mhm.
So what happened?
We put up signs. We put up signs that says you cannot park there anymore. It's tricky because RVs are the most trickiest to deal with because they're bigger, and the city does have a safe parking program as well as the county. But RVs are more challenging because they just take up so much space. They dump the waste onto the road, etc. That Night Dever and Foothill was a problem. You can see along the 182 is a problem as well. Santa Claus Lane continues to be, but we always take a compassionate approach because these are people. Some of them are locals.
Well, we didn't really mind it because there's no houses there.
Right.
And for a while, they were parking up on my son's street, and they called the code department and did that, business. They're gone now. But we didn't really mind them there because there's no houses, not bothering me. But that was just fun.
They were doing mechanical work. They were starting, some places in Summerlin were starting fires. So we had to take an aggressive approach. We always try to help people before we force them out of the area. But,
You're right. One of the reasons Carpenter became a city many 50 years ago was because we didn't feel we had representation at the county level.
mhm.
By the same token, many people feel that Montecito is a city.
It is.
They're not.
I know.
Is the Montecito Association has been their de facto spokesperson for that area.
Okay.
Is it still a very active operation?
Yes, the MA, the Montecito.
That's fine.
There are. So the backstory to that is, so Montecito want to become a city. And the county's like, we can't lose this. This is the golden goose for the county. Because a lot of the tax revenue from Montecito alone pays for so many services. There's over 2,000 homes. The average tax property assessment is about $500,000 per home. That's a lot. Homes go for 10, 20, up to $100, $150 million in Montecito. Those pay for services up in Lompoc, Santa Maria, vital, crucial services that's needed. The county could not let it go. So I believe it was Salud who made that deal, giving Montecito cityhood without actually being a city. And they agreed to it. They have their own plan commission. They have their own board of, yeah, they have that. They have
Fire
many
department.
committees.
They have their own fire department.
They have a fire department, which is amazing.
Two school districts.
2 school districts, Cold Springs and MUS. Carpinteria can do that too if you guys want to come to the county. but yes, Montecito is like city, but not a city. They're very special. But everybody's special, so. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, anybody? Good. Well, thank you for having me here. If you need anything, I'm a local Carpinteria too. I live here. I love our community, and you know where to find me, right? Pretty easy to find. And if you go to the restaurant, say hi to my wife. She's always there. So thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. I've got some
Okay, cool.
snacks, wine.
Thank you.